Hi, my name is John, and this is Radio Free Platypus. Well, we saw in our first video that it's very easy to do transitions in Premiere Pro from one part of your video and one set of footage to another. Now, I'm going to show you something that most people don't think about, but maybe you should if you want to be really creative. The fact that within Premiere Pro, you can take things that aren't really designed or labeled as transitions and use them to be able to get a really nice effect to transit from one piece of footage to another. Here's a good example. We're going to go ahead and use the ellipse tool right here. Or we could have used the rectangle, I guess, or even drawn a shape layer using the pen tool, but we're going to use the ellipse tool because it's really easy. Going over here to footage A, I'm going to go here to the middle, just when it transits from A to D, and go to the left using the left arrow 1, 2, 3 times. That's 3 frames. Now, since I've already selected my ellipse tool, I'm going to go up here and basically draw a circle. The reason why you see that white border around there is that if you go up here to the left to the effect controls and see the shape layer, twirl that down, the fill, that gray area that you see in the center, that's the stroke, the white. I can make that as large or as thin as I want to. I'm just going to leave it large because it's easier to see. And then within the shape layer, you'll find that there's also a series of transform controls, notably for our purposes, the scale. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the stopwatch to create that keyframe right at the beginning. We're going to go to the middle using the scrubber at the top in effect controls, create another keyframe, and then we're going to go to the end using that same scrubber, create another keyframe. The end keyframe is now going to be scaled to 0.0. The middle stays at 100%, and the front, in case you haven't already guessed it, goes to 0.0. Now, let's move the lower scrubber out of the way, and let's move that right about the middle so that the graphic that we've just created straddles the 2 pieces of footage. And watch how it looks. Well, that was neat, and it's kind of interesting, but it really doesn't do what we need it to do. How about this? We take that scale and we increase it to where it completely covers the frame. Go back to that first one where it's at 0. Make sure it stayed that way. And the last one's still at 0 as well. Let's see if that looks just a little different. Much more interesting transition, isn't it? But John, I can hear everybody saying, what does that really do for real transitions, for real footage that we're using? Well, let's move that over here where it's right in the middle. And you have to admit that we've got some interesting things happening. And suddenly, well, it's an interesting change, but maybe we can be even more creative. Going back up here to the effects controls on the top left, let's go ahead and take a look at the appearance under that shape layer. Well, the fill we know is gray, but we've got a nice blue ocean. So why don't we click on that and change it to a nice blue? And you'll notice that that's exactly what happened. We can keep the stroke as a white. We can do away with the stroke. Or what we can do is change the color of the stroke to maybe a different color of blue. And you see, there we have it. Not too shabby. So watch what happens now. Now, that trended to look a little jerky because I haven't rendered any of this stuff, but I think you get the feel. At this point, you can play with all the things I've shown you, try them out for yourselves using your own footage, and see what works best for you for the future. Pretty much, it's a lot of fun. Now, you have questions. I may have answers. There's a whole comment section below this video that's available to you. Ask your questions, and if you have any suggestions about what you'd like to see next here on Radio Free Platypus, put it down there and we'll see what we can do about it. By the way, be sure to subscribe and smash that like button so that you can be informed every single time there's a brand new video here on Radio Free Platypus. I'll see you next time.